Everyone is looks maxing. I think my general predisposition currently is to fat max. It's very hard to go to LA on a weekend and be at a friend's place in Hollywood and see Cali Steak, which was a Michelin restaurant that they reformulated into a steakhouse. It was something else before, like a tasting menu type place, like French fusion, Asian fusion, the tasting menu, a Michelin star or two. They've redone it into like a old classical steakhouse, dark wood paneling, the whole bit, and the booze, the red velvet or the red leather. And it's delicious. And I went there every single day I was there. And I didn't eat a lot. I had one meal a day when I was there. We went to Venice. Oh, no, we did go to Gelini in Venice or whatever it's called on Abbot Kinney. But again, every time I was there or out to eat, that was the food and then nothing else for the day. And lots of walking, going to Santa Monica, lots of this and that. And I can't seem to shake that I felt my pants slightly tighter coming back on the airplane. Seated, by the way, in coach, which I don't know how the fuck you people do it. It's not, a usual event for me. I thank goodness that I'm able to make money. And I'm 6'6", so thank God. But man, it was brutal. And I was in the bulkhead. It was still bad. I knew there were no available first class seats, so I was screwed. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's been a while. I'm a big boy. I swear to God, it's gotten smaller. The bulkhead used to be a thing where you could stretch your legs out and cross your ankles. Not anymore. Not anymore. I can't imagine what it's like in the other seats. Holy shit. If they added a row, what is it? And you know what I think would be best for economy? If they create a class for standing only in the United States, like Ryanair in Europe, where you can stand. $5 a seat, $10, stand for 2 hours, like you're going to the museum or something. Do a little do a little jog. Like standing jog in place. Maybe they could have that new VR headset technology where the floor are these beads that roll, and so it gives you the illusion that you're moving, but you're just staying in place. And you could have a visor on in the standing only for $10. Go from your piece of shit city to the Delaware beaches where the fuck you hang out, and you just walk, but I think you're in a meadow or you're being chased by velociraptors, whatever you want to do. That would be cool. They'll probably do that in the future. But yeah, we were looking at the market today. Clearly a dump by the major players ahead of the Fed meeting. Things rose and then got cut down. But FINMA's been moving up. It should see some action in terms of just the rhetoric of war. Everyone's assuming he won't cut. I actually would not be surprised if he does and shocks everybody. Inflation from the oil embargo, kind of oil forced shortages around the world, and the SPR going to its lowest, Strategic Petroleum Reserve of the United States going to its lowest level since the Reagan administration. This doesn't go away. Just because you turn on the tap again, it doesn't go away. And if Israel fucks with Lebanon, we're back to where we started. So they seem like they're going to do that. So, yeah. Also, the 60-day thing inside the MOU where it's we're going to work on the uranium enrichment issue. That's just a ceasefire to another disagreement about enrichment. This is a stay of execution for the markets. There's someone who put a huge option short on the SPY in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I saw it come across my board early this morning. I got in at 1:30 in the morning, or got home at 1:30, right? And then stayed up till 2, watched little Nick Fuentes Great suit. The dark blue. People said he got a new camera. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, look, it looks like a Sony camera. The thing about Sony lenses or the camera, I'm not a photographer or a cinematographer of that kind, but I've heard that Sony tends to, even with their TVs, the blacks become really good with light and dark. And that setup of the studio where he does his show is kind of the darkness and interesting lighting, but it brought it out. It's like the deep blacks. So. Great work there. Beautiful new suit. I'm not a big fan of that he has a brown suit. You can't tell. The fuck? Yeah, you can come in. I'm not a big fan of the brown suit. Hello, little buddy. Hello. Hi. Oh, that's nice. Little Chihuahua doggy. Hello. I hurt my finger. You be gentle. So when I was in LA visiting my friend. Hi, Kathy.
Hi. Good morning.
Visiting my friend, and it was. She was like. So all the Cali's food we ordered, like we were first going to the restaurant, and then we had it delivered. So it was right around the corner. So it's like, why don't we just eat it at your place instead of going to the restaurant? It's even cozier. Watch the soccer or whatever, the basketball. Go Knicks. That was great. That Jalen Wimby is such a bitch, by the way. The guy is such a bitch. No, like there's like constantly he tried to hurt Jalen Bronson, like step on his like take his knee out, force him to twist his ankle. The dude is such a bitch. He's not talented, in my opinion. He's just tall. He has no moves, no post moves. He has no moves to the basket. He has poor ball handling skills. He's probably a down low brother, little bitch. Probably gets like smashed by trannies on the side. We don't know about it, but we will. Hate him. Jalen Brunson's the man. Talking about taxes, like he misses Texas taxes, like OG shit. That's okay. Everyone does. Hey, let's get the Panama Papers, some sort of weird offshore shell thing for you. I'm sure some guy in New York will help you. Let's help you avoid taxes and ideally avoid jail time, because that's most important. I'll open it in a second. I'm doing my show. She wants to go outside, the little doggy. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I'll open it. See? It was a short trip. So she put a stool down for the or like the small table so low to the ground from Temu, and we were eating on that. And then I saw it in the kitchen a day later. It was so low to the ground, and I had to put on my shoes. So we were going to go on a hike, and I used it as a stool. It broke. I almost broke my finger. It was in a splint for a while. I had it X-rayed in LA, and it's fine. Thank God. That was the most eventful thing. And then we went into this whole like diatribe about like how she was trying to kill me. She's the one that gave me the Abilify for chronic fatigue syndrome for autoimmune disease, and then like caused me to make me worse. And then she tries to kill me with the stool. So like these sequence of events where she's just constantly trying to kill me in the like most imperceptible way where she gets away with it. Yeah. But I was just lying on her kitchen floor, just so sad. But yeah, so it was a good weekend. My bag was literally the last bag off the carousel. That was really annoying. What else is going on? Sean Strickland was kicked out wearing something about like Trump's in the Epstein file, some shirt like that. That's hilarious. And he was put in a paddy wagon, which I don't really understand. Like, you should just like remove him from the grounds. You're gonna drive him like 20 miles away, like drive him to a different state and dump his body because he like embarrassed the Trump family. That whole spectacle is kind of embarrassing. Because it's not that like it's not cool to have a coliseum and fighters and like have the authoritarian regime overlooking the battlefield, so to speak. But like it's not it's just so déclassé. It's just so like, you know, that thing how Kid Rock is always brought to like these rallies, these like conservative rallies. I'm like, no one listens to Kid Rock. Who is that for? It's like boomer bullshit. And I'm not even sure many boomers like Kid Rock. It's weird. It's like, nope, we're gonna get Kid Rock. That's what the people want. Might as well get Limp Bizkit or something. But he's probably liberal because he dresses like a wigger. The strawberry shot of the Monster's pretty good. I've been doing well with oregano. It's helping my immune system. It's doing something. I had some vivid dreams. It's very nice. Let me see if I can close this again. It's distracting me. Oh, it's so better. So, the James, what is it, the kid's, the Aaron Franco, is that the kid's name, that said, I won't work for a Jew? Now, you shouldn't do that. I don't know what you're trying to do, because the whole point, even if you're like Groyper to the max, hold your fire. Don't let people see your power level, as Nick would say. Why are you doing that? Someone with that temperament should be like, you know, respectively decline or ingratiate themselves and enter the system and kind of like make some inroads, you know, make some connections. There's no need to be that, you know, odious. And now it's like there were 6 news segments about the kid the other day, 6 on Fox, about how anti-Semitism is a problem. We keep bringing up this kid had the just Gabe Einhorn is the alleged victim who offered him the job. Like, kept bothering him. He's like, "Leave me alone, Jew." He's like, "I'm gonna kill you." And then Joe Lonsdale and Palantir somehow dox him, or they're the way they figure out who he is, and then the CEO that was offering the kid the job from Cornell that doesn't like Jews or doesn't want to work for Jews said no, and I'm like, you know, this you can't say that if you're trying to do shit in life. He should pretend that he loves Jews. That's what you do. Has he read Sun Tzu, Art of War, or that new Robert Greene book, which is a compilation of like all forms of people, von Clausewitz and you know, Genghis Khan and all these other musings? That's what you should be doing. Machiavellian, you know, first principles. I don't understand why you would think that's okay. I know it's popular, but maybe being popular or liked as a, you know, feeble incel got the best of him. It's like, I'm going to get so much pussy from like e-girls that are Nazis from saying this. Possibly. But how are you going to pay for dinner? They going to pay? And they realize you're broke, and then you're fucked. And then you have to move on. Then you have to move on to your career as a Saudi consultant for some offshore private real estate firm or some bullshit. Like, it's the only job you're going to get. It's just like, dude, what are you doing? It's not a question of whether what you said is wrong. It's that it hurts you. Like, don't be self-destructive. I did that when I was a kid too. I felt wronged. I'm gonna spite my own face. No, I'm gonna cut off my nose to spite my own face. People don't care that you're angry or upset, or like it doesn't make you. It doesn't ingratiate yourself to anything, because the system is still controlled by, you know, people that are of a certain mindset. Not even Jews, just people who are like, hey, you can't talk like that. And also, it speaks poorly about like, or how are you going to represent our firm and clients that might have different, value sets than you. You know what I mean? Like it's like I just think it's dangerous. It sets a bad precedent amongst all minority classes. He's just like, you just can't do it because that's the system. You can have those values in your head. You keep them in the lockbox. And that's just what you do. You keep them in the lockbox. No one knows about them. You make your money, and then you start to have a drinking problem where they say it's a drinking problem. You blame it on a drinking problem. When you're drinking, you're out, you kind of like let loose. And it's like, I think he has a drinking problem. It's like kind of like one of those things. Yeah, like Mel Gibson. Because, of course, Mel doesn't share any of those values. No, but like, it's just the alcohol, right? It's just the alcohol talking. But then what's that fucking Latin phrase, in vino veritas? Does that mean nothing? Camera adds 10 pounds. I'm forever fat. It just, I want to get lean. But I don't necessarily want to take more testosterone to do it. Dude, so slow, man. I swear, it's so fucked because the vial that I was on last year at the same dose, different vials, same dose. Like this recent batch, I swear it's underdosed. It is underdosed. It's a bad batch. It has to be. I was reading 440 nanograms per deciliter on total T and free T in a relative range, like, 10.7 nano, whatever it is. I'm like, last year at the same dose, I was 670. This isn't a same testing day. Dude, it's fucked. So I was playing with my doses this weekend. It felt really good. Felt like when I bumped myself up the other day. But I don't know if I want to go down that road. It's so daunting, man. God, it's so hard. I don't like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Really just want to be myself, but I still have this autoimmune disorder. But, I will say, oregano does help. Oregano oil. I don't want to be like one of those people, like a chiropractor that says, if you're sick, just, and you're good. Cancer, bad back, same thing. If you have AIDS, they give you an adjustment just as if you had like a sore knee, It's doing something. Also, it's making me eat less. Normally when I'm in LA or I travel, I like to eat at the fancy restaurants and just crush it. And this time I was not really interested in that. I had good food, but it was like once a day. And I had coffee and played a lot of chess. She's horrible at chess. It's so bad. Like, I have to lose a rook and a queen and then try to win, and then still give her moves. It's bad. It's like she's never beaten me fairly. It's impossible. I try to put myself in a really difficult position to see if I can get out of it where it's impossible. But and usually I win. This recent time, I missed a move. I was like, oh, I think you're going to get me. And I had already given up like 10 points of pieces, so whatever. Yeah. I feel like people on chess.com cheat more than Lead Chess. I feel like when they're losing, they cheat. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, they get better all of us. They pause 5 seconds, like not 5 minutes, maybe a couple minutes. They're like pause. They're not on the board. And then all of a sudden they come back and they're just killing you. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, why do that? It's just so dishonest, Let's see what's happening. So to review the markets real quick. Yeah, it's not fun. I bought some more DraftKings. That was a mistake today. Yeah, it's a little annoying. Talon Energy hit the top of its range again. I feel like it wants to break out, though. I feel like the market is prime for a breakout. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, if we don't cut tomorrow, I think the market's going to dump. Maybe the market's preempting that. You know? It's definitely what it feels like. There is a bubble. The S1 filing for SpaceX shows plans to mine asteroids. We can't even go back to the fucking moon. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. It's nonsense. It's nonsense in terms of, like, if it's true, it's going to take a long time. You don't, like, set cash flow, like, a cash flow prospectus 20 years in advance. You just don't do that. You can't see into the future like that. Also, what if a bunch of companies are doing it? Hold on. Dog wants to go outside. Let's go to the papers. I'm on Twitter. I don't see. Yeah. Clav's girlfriend's so basic. Basic bitch. Like, kind of dissonance of being like a victim and then calling non-Jews apes by this rabbi who was defending Gabe Einhorn and like general anti-Semitism. Like, to call like anything that's critical of Jews is like from a person that's like less than human. Is to imply any generalization is like a sign of low intelligence, even if the behavior that you're, alluding to from said group is very low intelligence in nature or very impulse control driven or lack thereof. Like, it's just, there is this like liberal multiculturalism mindset where if you promote multiculturalism in its like entirety to like its maximum, you are protecting yourself from your own bad acts if you're smart by saying anything you criticize about my group working together in a negative connotation, just as you were to say anything about blacks or whatever is anti-Semitic or racist or whatever. And it creates this Alinskian bravado where you feel empowered. And it's just based off of this lie that's to keep a very certain group of people in power. I swear to God, it's just like, dude, it's just, in LA last week, after the Iran MOU, I was at an ice cream shop in Larchmont, and this like Jewish woman with her like very like Orthodox kids, she was sweet and nice, and Iran had just tied New Zealand, or they were about to. There's a lot of tension, and it's like you could feel it. You could feel the people felt frustrated or something. I'm like, there's this bizarre, this connection is real. To make a grandiose comment is not grandiose about the entire group in general, that there's a collective, I don't, like, white people don't have that. It is a compliment to say how organized Jews are and how much they work together. It is unequivocally a compliment. It's like saying black people are good at basketball, but Jewish people tend not to they don't want you to shine light on their successes. They want it. They really, because their biggest weapon is the precept, the kind of dissonance of persecution, consistent persecution in the midst of unbelievable success. And that's where people get frustrated, and I understand that. And I think that's eventually going to be the downfall that's going to increase anti-Semitism. It's like you cannot keep saying how persecuted you are, and then people call you out on certain things, and then you're like, that's this or that. That's this ism. I'm like, it's not. You are doing it, and they're upset, and it's like, you're calling them a name, but what about the act itself? Is that act good? You know? So I don't know. Wait, is that true? Did Niger play Germany? That's hilarious. NIG-GE. It's kind of funny. What else? Yeah, Bausch is now down below 5 yet again. Wonderful. It's so ugly out there. So ugly. I mean, what am I supposed to say here? It's just, it's nasty. It's nasty, brother. Like the guy from Rushmore. It's really, really nasty. You can feel the market's just like, yeah, okay, now what? Because the whole war thing was like, it took forever, and it's not over, and now the rates aren't going to be cut. I really feel like he has to cut the fucking rates. You're going to see a nasty market, unless the market makers want the prices to go down. I think you're going to see something fucking nasty if he doesn't say something dovish. It has to be dovish, or the rates have to be, there has to be implied additional cuts this year. But that doesn't make any sense, because why would he do them now? It's half the year's over. So it has to be something about the balance sheet. Now it's appropriate to add to the balance sheet. Maybe something about GSEs like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. We should push the removal of control from the U.S. government and give the money back to the people, the original shareholders, and remove Fannie Mae from conservatorship through an IPO. That would send that to probably 18 in a day. My guess, because it's worth 0.43 times EBITDA right now. Maybe even less than that, under $8 a share. Like, yeah. But we'll see. I'm not too happy about it. Oh, my friend was asking me about Pick Me Girls for her, like this thing she's writing. Like, what is a Pick Me Girl exactly? Pick Me Girls get affirmation asexually through the sexual tension of their mimetic of trying to take on hobbies that men like, or things they like, pretend to like them, or have be an empty shell and just adopt them, and then get affirmation as being one of the boys. But also, the reason why it's so powerful is that the honest truth is it's like platonic. It's like platonic sexuality. The reason the man is so enamored with like the male group with this girl that's like, oh, I like gaming, I like Pokemon, I like Dungeons and Dragons, is because they are sexually frustrated. She is providing them that like affirmation from the opposite sex, biologically speaking, something that's lacking from their perspective in their private lives, in a way that's very innocuous. It's very like innocent. And there is this like lifting up of her as special, but it's really just because she's a girl and like pretty. And she knows this, or implicitly, or her subconscious knows this, and she's developed this over time, like through a mother or something like this. And women will hate her, particularly girlfriends of this said group or whatever, their mothers. Like they can't stand this girl, and she won't understand why, or she'll be like kind of a malicious pick me, and we'll know why, and laugh in their faces. But the pick me is basically a narcissist in a way, like or they're so like, imagine getting off on things that you don't have any likes of your own, that the only thing you need, and this goes to the biological predisposition of women, and like why biology is real, why genetics is real, and you can't like change your sex and stuff. I get off on the affirmation of men, and I'm going to just pick all their hobbies and stuff and pretend to like them without having the risk of rejection by getting fucked by some guy, and then he dismisses me. So I get all the positive stuff, all the camaraderie, all the coziness, maybe some cuddles, without the sex and the pain and the giving it out, putting it out, and then being rejected later where I feel used or something. That's like the best of both worlds. It is. And I think some girls do prey on men that are more susceptible to that and will accept that. Like, I think Dasha from the Red Scare podcast has dated a lot of nerds that she can control as being this sort of like bastion of sexuality, and they idolize her, and it's a way of her feeling like she's in control. A powerful man, she like very alpha, she wouldn't like, not because it's not her type, but because she feels like she can't control the situation. You know, she feels like, oh, this could end badly. She never feels safe. And most women feel safe with like an alpha or powerful male, a provider. Someone like Dasha who dates like nerdy Jewish guys, it's by definition like, because what she's looking for is someone not to leave, or someone that she can control the relationship and have all the power. Even if fear of abandonment's not the primary issue for her, she has the power. And they are deferential to her, and they make her, like all actresses who are, you know, narcissists. They put her up. They idolize her. You know. So, you know, there's that thing, and then I talked about narcissism being a superpower, because people say be yourself. Like, yeah, be yourself if it's getting you somewhere. If yourself is not leading to enriching your life, literally, or through like, you know, learned experiences and like a vibrant, you know, lifestyle of travel and, you know, whatever, fun and knowledge and, you know, living well to some degree, and then you need to change yourself. Be yourself, but be the better version of yourself. People say be yourself. What the fuck does that mean? Tell some 18-year-old kid to be himself. He's nothing. He's a half-baked. He's like a meal you reheat that's just like doesn't quite taste right. It's not done. They're not ready. You have to mold yourself into something. Be yourself. Like, there's no such thing to this. So a narcissist's superpower is that they are never themselves. They use other people in a pathetic sense to lift up their idea of themselves. A powerful narcissist or successful narcissist doesn't do this superficially. They do this to gain power, money, etc., while knowing deep in their head they're not happy with themselves the entire time, that it's never enough. That sadomasochistic part, that self-awareness, is what separates successful narcissists from non-successful. The prerequisite is narcissism. Being deluded is a superpower. Now, what does that do for a man? Well, it takes a lot of power away from women. That's why you see so many like YouTube videos of women complaining about, I dated a narcissist, I'm the victim. It's kind of funny how all of you are victims of all these men, and it has nothing to do with your behavior at all. That sounds narcissistic. There's so much content online about women getting like hurt by narcissists, and in the comments section, they all agree with each other. The coven of witches. Women like to affirm each other's conceits so that when it's their turn to complain about their lot in life without accountability or reason, some woman will come by and be like, you go, girl. You did nothing wrong. Of course not. Sound familiar? This like suicidal empathy? And by proxy, the Munchausen's variant of these people, it's not their fault, it's racism or whatever, and who's voting for Joe Biden while wearing their Lululemon pants at home at 3 o'clock with the Mercedes station wagon or whatever in the driveway, a Percocet and a Chardonnay on the way right before they pick up their kids from soccer practice. It's a white woman. They are the death throes, the death nail of society is this bizarre empathy and this constant lying and solipsism, which is just narcissism, another variant. Because it is their version of reality they contort to appease their emotional state, which isn't real. It's like being a narcissist without having control of the narrative. It's insane. They're fucking crazy. I'm going to allow my emotions to control all of my choices. And if you try to stop me, I'm going to make it difficult for you and infect you with the toxicity that is my crying, my anger, you having to deal with me making the wrong decisions over and over again, taking your advice, just so that you stay there and say, yeah, I think that's right. And you keep talking to me and stay up with me all night only to do the same thing. Tame Impala. Making the same bad choices over and over again. And you have to, you're like, what is wrong? And then eventually you're just like, oh, I only fuck this girl. That's why I put up with the toxicity, because she offers me sex. And so many women know, and I think this is a weird thing when it comes to damaged women and women in general, is that they know that if they falter in their crying, some man will be there to give them comfort. So putting yourself in this position where you are like hurt means you have an incentive to fuck up again, because a man will be there to give you affirmation and cuddles and pet your head and say everything's going to be okay. So you are incentivized to keep fucking up, not to do better, not to not give in to your emotions, but to give in more. You know? So, yeah. How long have I been talking? Yeah, man. It's scary out there. Yeah, so narcissists are, it's a great thing to be. You just can't be like deluded. You have to do shit with your life. You can't just like pretend it's like, I'm going to make this girl think that I'm talented and this person think I'm talented, use them as a supply. To what end? Make it happen. Convince this person you're brilliant. They give you money, invest it, get lucky, make a few million, keep going. That's the real part. The scary part is the narcissist has a hard time doing that because of failure, and you will fail, but you got to put yourself out there. That is the step that has to be like taken, is put yourself out there. Stop being afraid of failing. Put yourself out there. That's okay, I think. But it's okay. Every group has a criticism. Being alpha is like kind of probably mundane at times, just like stoic, always making the right choice, some Sigma like mentality at times where you don't, no impulse controlled or absolute impulse control. But isn't it fun just to give in? It's better to be like switch it around, like play different roles. Like Sylvia Plath said, I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, a writer, you know, a mortician. You know, you want to play different roles, you know? It's hard for like a Chad to like, you know, kind of be different things. But we need to. We need to. I remember going into the GW's medical, like for students, and saying I need my OR scrubs from starting my semester. It's a complete lie. And they said, well, we need your paperwork. We can't just give these out. I'm like, oh, well, you know, I was of the age, you know, like young. And like, oh, my God, my dorm. Oh, I have to go back. All right, I'll be back. And they're like, wait, no one's as tall as you. Here. So then I took those. And I started skipping lines at coffee shops over the next couple of months. Every so often, I felt like I'd say, I'm late for a procedure. Can I skip in line? Yeah, of course. And then some girls like, what kind of medicine do you practice? I'm like, I'm a plastic surgeon. I'm a neurosurgeon. I just switch it up, you know. Yeah. God, this market's so ugly. I should probably watch it a little bit. All right, I'll talk to y'all later.